We are approaching the old 4th of July. The old America Day.
Star-spangled
canines. Here we are, 4th of July. Fun time of year. Everybody's out barbecuing, grilling out, having fun.
blowing stuff up.
Blowing shit up. But here's what happens when you blow shit up. You scare some dogs, typically. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to give you guys some pointers as far as how to scare your dog a little less. Josh, how do you like 4th of July?
I love 4th of July.
Doing anything for 4th of July this year?
I think we're going to go see the Akron fireworks. That's about it.
I haven't went and watched fireworks, and it's been a minute.
Really?
It's been a minute.
I love me some fireworks.
I do as well. Looking forward to them this year. So, what we're going to do first here is we're going to read a post that I made forever. I probably made this post in 2017 or 2018.
Oh, throwback.
Right, and we're going to read it. I haven't read this in a long time. I actually just pulled it up. And we're going to see how much of it is still accurate, or if I agree with all of it, or if some of it needs fact-checked.
All right.
We'll see. All right, so fireworks. Some quick tips as we're moving into firework hours of the good old 4th of July. Remember, loud noises are scary as shit to dogs. A whole bunch of that is going to be starting here soon. These are a few tips to keep your dog safe, whether your dog is nervous or not. Don't act like the cool guy who has to show off his dog that doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
It's a big point there. Number one, and probably the most important one, just keep the dog inside. There is absolutely no reason to take the chance of your dog getting spooked, running away, and getting hit by a car or something else. The number one day that dogs get loose or are injured is today, 4th of July, next Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not today. Don't take the chance. If you need to take your dog out to go to the bathroom, do it on a leash attached to a collar they can't slip out of. Again, if they are leashed up, they can't run away. Now, this is a good one because and for God's sake, do not take your dog to the fireworks parties. If you're already there, take them inside.
Yep.
Give them some relief. Mm-hmm. I love reading this stuff dramatically.
Especially then, you were rough gunning right here.
I was
yelling at people. Don't do it.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think everybody has been out on 4th of July and seen people with dogs out.
Yep.
Like pretty much every year, our thing was we would always go to Menor Headlands Beach, right? And we would see dogs there every single year. It's just, it's kind of baffling that people would do that. One, because first off, and this is going to be a whole nother conversation we'll get into one of these other podcasts, is the idea that like when you go to these really large events, that is so overstimulating for dogs in general, no matter how good the dog is. And when you go to those places, you're going to those places for you, not for the dog. So why does your dog need to get dragged along and be stuck out in the heat, smothered by a million different people, not getting the one-on-one individual attention that they need, needing to fend for themselves as far as all the scary things going on around them? It's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like, your dog doesn't need to go to all these different events unless you're going for a very short period of time and you're going with the purpose of training your dog in a new environment. It's the only time it's even acceptable, and a lot of these environments are still not even appropriate for that, you know? But everybody sees these dogs out, and guess what happens is dogs run away all the time because people are oblivious to their dog's issues, right? And even stuff as simple as maybe you just adopted the dog and you haven't experienced 4th of July with them, and you're oblivious to the fact that your dog might be scared of those things. Maybe today's the day that suddenly they get spooked by something because maybe they've heard fireworks before, but they've never been in that close of contact with them. Maybe some fucking idiot 20 feet away from you decides to blow off a firework and it's even more close and it scares the shit out of your dog. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that could happen that can create problems with stuff like that. Number one thing is on 4th of July, just don't take your dog anywhere. Just literally keep them inside. Let them go to the bathroom before it gets dark out, and then wait until after the fireworks are over before you take them out again. And then the big one, keep your dog, if you're going to take them out on leash, Keep them on leash and make sure it's attached to a collar they can't slip out of. And this is a tip for everybody here right now, whether we're worried about fireworks or not. If your dog is attached to a flat collar and that flat collar can easily slip over the dog's head, that is borderline on like it's doing nothing, right? Like any dog can just zoop back up, it's gone, right? So buy a collar your dog can't slip out of. A slip collar will be fine. A slip leash would be fine, or a martingale style collar will be fine. Also, most of these public service announcement, most of these collars you're going to buy from the pet store. I'm talking to the camera right now. Most of these collars you'll buy from the pet store that have the stupid little plastic buckle on it that look cute and have donuts on it and stuff. Do you know how many of those I've seen those plastic buckles break on?
Just
9 gazillion of them. They just snap and then suddenly, boom, dog is free. Get yourself a high-quality collar to attach your leash to. And listen, I hate harnesses, but if you're going to use a harness, fit it up properly. Make sure it's snug so that, again, the dog cannot just slip out of that thing, because I've seen that happen 8 gazillion times. All right, moving on. 2. If your dog is notoriously spooked by thunderstorms and other loud noises, expect the next few hours to be pretty rough. One of the best things we could do for our dogs that are scared of loud noises is to block their ability to rehearse the things they typically do when they start to panic. This includes hiding under things, pacing around, or barking and reacting to the noises. If your dog notoriously hides in different spots, don't let them do it and get themselves worked up. Attach a leash to them before the fireworks start and keep them close. Try your hardest not to pet or console them when they are nervous, as you may be unintentionally reinforcing those anxious states of mind. Just keep them close and focus on staying in one place. Same goes for pacing. Lots of dogs will compulsively circle or move from room to room. Interrupt this behavior using the leash or minor corrections with an e-collar or other tool you may use for unwanted behaviors. Remember, the idea is to interrupt the cycle before the dog has the ability to escalate from 0 to 100 and keep things at a more moderate level. If your dog barks and reacts to loud noises, treat it the same way, correcting for the reaction and putting their focus on something else. Okay, this is a big one. So this is now getting into actually working through firework anxiety or noise phobias to begin with, because we see a lot of dogs that it could be a truck backing up and beeping. We see a lot of dogs where it could be fireworks, thunderstorms, other miscellaneous noises going on. And the problem is most dogs, when they're in those kind of freaking out states of mind, it escalates from 0 to 100 really quickly, right? So boom, they get scared by something. And the issue, like we've talked about 9 gazillion times, is not that the dog gets scared, it's the dog's response to their fear, right? So dog gets startled, right? I've never minded an initial startle response to something. If suddenly the dog is, whoa, my God, something just happened, right? And lets out a little, whoa, right? And then they calm back down, that's fine, right? The problem is they go, woof, and then they're startled. And then it's like, right? Or then it's taken off like a rocket trying to run away from something, or then it's destructive behaviors or this or that. That is where it starts to become more of a controllable response from the dog. You're not going to change their startle response to things, right? The startle response is always going to be there, but what they do post that can be controlled, right? Assuming a firework isn't going off literally 3 feet away from your dog, if it's happening outside of your house, inside of the confines of your house, it is, in my opinion, expected that the dog should be able to maintain control. So here's the thing. If you're going to be home and you want to work on these things with your dog, here's what you're going to need to do, right? You're going to need to pick whatever your dog's best command is, right? First off, make sure they're geared up. They got their e-collar on, they got a leash on, whatever, right? Because a lot of this that I wrote was intended for people that don't necessarily have that high of a level of control over their dog, which is why I talked a lot about using the leash, blocking some of those patterns, so at least they can't cycle into the state of mind of like, I go from freaking out to running and hiding to then just like panicking and barking and stuff and cycling, right? A lot of that was written with the intention of helping the general public to be able to work through some of these types of issues. But if you have a higher level of training on your dog, if we've worked with your dog before, pick your dog's best command. A lot of those are going to be a bed command or a come command, right? One or the other, right? First and foremost, while the fireworks are going on, I want you to not pet or talk to your dog unless you're giving a clear command, right? That ensures you're not reinforcing the behavior at all like I talked about in this, right? Next, what you're going to do is you're going to proactively put your dog into a command before the fireworks start. I like a bed command for this. Again, I think it's a little bit easier, but a come command would be fine. And the expectation of that is just that the dog stays right next to you.
Yep.
Give your command one time. Have your e-collar set high, because again, this is where you start getting into. It doesn't matter if the dog is really scared or really excited or anywhere in between. Impulse control issues are impulse control issues. And something like this is going to be a very extreme impulse control issue that you're going to want to be able to work through with your dog. Put your dog into command. Give that bed command. Be prepared for the next 2 hours to enforce that command. Nice 2-hour-long bed stay. If your dog gets up out of it, you have to give a correction the dog is more motivated by than they are scared of those fireworks or aroused by those fireworks or whatever it may be. You need to get them to refocus back in on this. This is something we do every single day with other issues that are just as arousing to dogs as fireworks are to some dogs. It can absolutely be stopped if you are diligent and you remove that emotional aspect of, oh, he's scared, I don't want to make him do this. But the problem is that state of mind that he cycles himself into when he gets in full-on panic is just as unhealthy of a state of mind, right? And if you could start to get them to take 50% of their brain and focus in on whatever it is that you're asking them to do, that's going to leave only 50% of their brain left to worry about all the fireworks and all the noise going on outside, so that they could start to kind of decompress a little bit and they could start to at least sit there and maybe still be stressed as shit, but understand, okay, nothing's happening. I'm not freaking out. I'm focusing and nothing's happening.
Yep.
And then through repeated doing of that, just like we talked about with Betty with the muzzle and all that kind of stuff, we see them incrementally get better. And listen, here's the thing. Yes, I would love to desensitize. Let's get back to the desensitization. I would love to counter condition fireworks, but guess what? The noises on your phone and the sounds you're going to play on your fucking speaker and stuff like that, they don't do anything. They don't simulate that same sound wave or what is it, barometric pressure and stuff that a real firework does. It's not realistic, just like thunderstorms and stuff.
Yep.
It's not the same. No. Right? So when you look at something that only happens a couple times a year, your options are just let your dog be a fucking mess, right? Or actually help them through it as their leader.
Yep.
I will always choose the latter. I think that is the way to go. And guess what? 4th of July last year, I went and I closed the shop last year. We had 35 dogs, 40 dogs, something like that up there. Ran every single one of them outside while fireworks were going on leash. And guess what? None of them did. Freak the fuck out at fireworks. And I would bet, listen, I don't know because I didn't talk to all their owners about it, but I would guess that some of those dogs had some degree of firework anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't allow them to cycle into an anxious state of mind because of that.
Yeah.
So they were able to be okay, and it wasn't a problem. We had a calm kennel because of it. And listen, we are located in Firework fucking Central, where the facility is.
Yeah.
There's fireworks, there's people shooting guns, there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's wild.
Yeah.
And it was fine, right? So that's a lot of the key of this. You got to keep their dog's brain stimulated.
50% is 100% better.
Hell yeah. All right, thing number 3. If your dog isn't overly stressed out with fireworks, treat the loud noises as a fantastic distraction to proof training. Use rewards and the leash to put your dog through the motions of training and keep their attention on you. Even if they are not visibly panicked, it can help to make sure we're keeping their brain active and their attention on something else. It's pretty basic, guys. Just keep things safe. Keep the dogs inside and don't allow the dog to cycle into a state of panic. Hang tight. It'll be over soon. Last part is kind of just a little fluff add in there. You know, got to let them know. If they're not too distracted, here's the thing. If they are too stimulated, you can still work on it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key, and that is the key fact check of that post that I made, is we have seen a lot of dogs with different anxieties like this that we've been able to work through. It's doable. Everybody can do it if you have a high level of training on your dog.